Imagine a house that doesn't reflect you. No matter how hard you try, the mirrors and windows stay blank. Nothing but emptiness staring back. Now imagine that this house sits at the end of your street, and every time you pass by, there's something inside watching you, even though no one is supposed to be there. In 2025, a peculiar house was discovered in a forgotten corner of rural America, a place where no reflections are found, at least not of anything human. Every visitor who enters seems to vanish in some strange way. Not physically, no, but mentally, spiritually perhaps. Tonight on AbyssMystX, we delve into the mystery of the house with no reflection. A house where mirrors don't just show an image, they show the very soul. Prepare yourself for the truth no one should see. In the small, isolated town of Masonville, a house stood out like no other. It was a crumbling, century-old structure at the edge of town, with an eerie aura that seemed to pull at your thoughts as you walked by. Its charm was undeniable, but there was something undeniably unsettling about it. The house with no reflection. This wasn't just the house, age, or the strange way its windows appeared to distort reality. What made it different from any other house was its complete lack of mirrors. No mirrors on the walls, no reflective surfaces in the bathroom, just emptiness staring back from every reflective surface. For years, the house had been abandoned. Its owner, an elderly woman named Evelyn Cartwright, living in seclusion until her mysterious disappearance in 2010. Rumors swirled that she had been involved in occult practices, speaking to spirits and performing strange rituals, but no one knew for sure. Some even said she never left the house at all, that she simply vanished into it, as if swallowed by the walls themselves. And then, in 2025, a young man named Ethan decided to move in. He wasn't looking for anything supernatural. He had just broken up with his girlfriend and was tired of the chaotic city life. Masonville seemed like the perfect place to start fresh, a quiet town where he could finally clear his mind. But Ethan didn't realize that his search for peace would lead him straight into something far more terrifying than he could imagine. At first, Ethan found the house charming. Its creaky floors and dusty shelves felt like a relic of the past, a reminder of simpler times. But there was one thing that unnerved him: the lack of reflections. The windows, though they appeared normal from the outside, had a strange quality. When Ethan passed by, he couldn't see himself in them. He thought nothing of it at first, chalking it up to poor upkeep or something to do with the house's age. But as the days went by, he noticed more oddities. The first real sign that something was wrong came on his third night in the house. Ethan had just finished unpacking his boxers when he sat down in the living room, flicking on the TV. He was exhausted from the move and was looking forward to a quiet evening. But as the night went on, something strange began to happen. Ethan noticed that the reflection in the window next to him wasn't his own. It was distorted. His movements were delayed, almost like a mirror that wasn't quite reflecting reality. He jumped up, approaching the window to get a better look. There in the reflection, he saw something he couldn't explain. His reflection was not there at all. It was as if the glass had turned into a black void. Panicked, Ethan moved through the house, touching every mirror, every reflective surface he could find. But each time, there was no sign of him. The more he tried to look, the more the reflections twisted, and the more he began to feel like he was losing himself. It wasn't just the mirrors. The entire house felt wrong. The walls felt cold, despite the heater running. The air was thick, as if it was watching him, waiting for him to make the next move. In the following days, Ethan's unease grew. He tried to shake it off, telling himself he was overreacting. But as the days stretched into weeks, the feeling of being watched never left. Sometimes he would catch glimpses of something or someone in the corner of his vision, only to turn and find nothing there. The tipping point came one evening when Ethan went into the kitchen, glanced into the window above the sink, expecting to see the reflection of the dim light in the room. But instead, he saw a figure standing behind him, a figure that wasn't his own. His heart raced. He spun around, but no one was there. He felt a cold, suffocating presence behind him, a force pulling at his very soul. It was as if the house had a life of its own, and it was growing stronger every day. One night, desperate for answers, Ethan began digging through old records in the town's archives. What he discovered shocked him. Evelyn Cartwright had been obsessed with the idea of immortality. She had been a part of a secretive group that believed they could transcend the human body through reflection. They had been conducting rituals in the house for years, attempting to bind their souls to the walls of the building itself, creating a house that would never reflect the true self. The truth was terrifying. The house wasn't just cursed. It was a prison for souls, including Evelyn's. The mirrors and windows were never meant to reflect anyone again, because they reflected something darker, something otherworldly. Ethan was now part of the house. His soul had become trapped in its walls, just like all the others who had come before him. The house, once a place of refuge, had become his tormentor. Ethan tried to escape, but it was impossible. No matter how far he ran, he always ended up back in the house. The mirrors would never show his face again because it wasn't his reflection that stared back. The house had absorbed him, and now it was waiting for its next victim. To this day, people say the house in Masonville still stands. Its windows never reflect the passers-by, and the air is always cold with the weight of those trapped inside. Some claim they can hear whispers at night, voices calling out from the walls, begging for release. And if you ever find yourself walking past that house, take a moment to look in the window. If there's no reflection staring back at you, it may already be too late. Thank you for diving into the mystery of the house with no reflection here on AbyssMystX. Till next time, remember, sometimes what you don't see is more terrifying than what you do.